Welcome to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with Rebecca Hall-Gruyter. In our program each week, we provide the tools, ideas, and encouragement to help you move ahead on your journey, becoming a more powerful and impactful woman in your own life. Now here's your host, Rebecca Hall-Gruyter.
Welcome, everyone. I hope that you're having an amazing day. I'm honored to be connecting in with you in January, a brand new year, as we lean in together to start the year powerfully and purposely. Looking forward to all that 2021 will bring, and I'm honored to have the opportunity to have all of you tuning in, connecting with us as we lean into moving forward in a powerful, positive, and purposeful way. So welcome, everybody. I hope that everyone has had an opportunity to slow down a little bit. Sometimes the holidays, I have found when I'm talking to people, there's kind of a mixed experience. For some, it's an acceleration. For others, it's a slowing down. But for almost everybody I've talked to, the holiday of 2021 season and New Year's of 2020, I should say, looked different than in past years and felt different than in past years. And so people have been processing that and really looking at 2021 and what do we, each of us, want to bring forward. I believe we all have choice. So what are we choosing to bring forward? Who are we choosing to be? How are we choosing to show up? Because whether we know it or not, we are always sharing out information. We're echoing out what we stand for, what we believe. Sometimes it's in a verbal way, sometimes it's in a nonverbal way. So many of the world has been on different video platforms, especially this last year. Things like Zoom. Zoom became a place so many people are going. And I'm sure on those video chats, you're noticing how people are showing up, what they're echoing out when they're not saying a word. They're even with masks on, there's information that's being communicated and shared out. And what I want us to do is in our verbal communication, in our nonverbal communication, in how we're showing up, what we're sharing out, that we're doing so mindfully, purposefully, that we're making sure that there's an alignment to how we show up, what we share out, that matches what's important to us. And sometimes we're moving so quickly, we get into autopilot, we just do what we've always done in a new way, or we try to do more of that, hoping for different results or hoping for things to shift or change, or we're not even aware of how we're showing up. Sometimes we can be saying yes, but our body is saying no. We can be thinking and feeling that, oh, I'm leaning into this, but when they see us visually, we're leaning back. Are we showing up in all ways in alignment with what matters most to us? And today we have two amazing experts that are leaning into us, mind, body, soul, and spirit, to support us in moving forward powerfully and purposely in our lives. And I'm really excited to have them joining in with us. They come from different parts of the world, different types of information they're going to be sharing and perspectives. And I know it's going to empower us. So I want to encourage you each to take a moment and take a breath. Breathe in through your nose. Keep breathing in. There's more air. And out through your mouth. Like through a straw. Great. I encourage you to just take a few moments, take those deep breaths, keep breathing as I'm talking. I want to encourage you to pause, be still, be open and ready to receive, being fully present, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that breath can help us slow down a little bit, lower our stress levels, our cortisol levels, that kind of amping up that we can have sometimes. It can slow us down a little bit. And when we do that, it helps us release what no longer serves and bring in what does, gives us room to receive and expand. And I want to invite you that this time is for you. I encourage you to pull up a chair, sit down for a moment, allow us to pour into you. You don't need to do anything right now. This is your time to be served, to be poured into. Beautiful. And in fact, to help you be fully present, I encourage you as you're doing that deep breathing, put one hand on your heart, one hand on your head, and close your eyes. You're absolutely safe. Feel the heartbeat with the one hand. And on the top of your head, the hand on top is bringing your mind and spirit in. So it's your heart, mind, body, soul, and spirit. As you listen to that heartbeat, you feel that heartbeat as you're breathing and becoming still. And you're absolutely safe. And in this space, what is it that you need today? What is it that will encourage you, inspire you, uplift you? What is it that you need today to support you on the journey? That you are willing to receive, because you have choice. So we're not identifying how, we're just identifying what it is that you need, or you're being reminded of, and you're willing to receive. Open heart, open mind, to receive whatever it is that will serve and support you. What is it that you need and are willing to receive? Unattached to how. Beautiful. Let's take a breath. Open up your eyes. Fully present. Wonderful. And I want to encourage you to take a moment and write down what was laid on your heart, what it was that you need and are willing to receive. This helps you create it, start to bring it into reality instead of swirling around inside you. You're bringing it forward. You're taking action and steps to do that. And now, throughout our time together today, and as you go back out in the world, you can be actively on the lookout for that need. And in fact, you're looking forward to being surprised on how that need will be met in a way you just never saw coming. And you're excited and you're anticipating that support. Beautiful. We're going to go around our virtual room here. And as we do that, I'm going to have each of our amazing guests share when they took a moment to just stop and pause and listen what was laid on their heart. Just a quick share, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, what was laid on their heart. So with that, Olga, I'd love for you to start. What was laid on your heart when you took a moment to listen?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me on, Rebecca. It's such an honor to be here. And really on my heart is something that is very deep to me, and it's understanding that we are all connected, even though we are so used to think that, what can I do really? But in reality, if 8 million billion people said, what can I do? There is something we can do. So this is just the connection that we all have and the ability to communicate freely like that. And it's just great that we are becoming this a small world and we can share those ideas. So thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely. And I love that and reminder of that we're all connected and that power in that, because sometimes we can feel like, who am I? But if we all start asking those questions and lean in, it's amazing what can happen. Thank you for that beautiful share.
Thank you.
Tina, how about you? What was laid on your heart?
Hello, Rebecca, and hello, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity of being here. That exercise is so emotional, I think, for me, and I hope for many of the listeners. But what I felt was patience with myself. And I think even as you were talking about slowing down, we can slow down, and yet we still are not very patient with ourselves, especially at a time where we may lack a lot of control over what's happening. To be mindful of being patient with me, with myself.
I love that. So important. It's so interesting how we can be patient and graceful for others, but sometimes not remembering to extend that for ourselves as well. A beautiful share and an important reminder. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Listeners, as we get ready to go to our first commercial break, I want you to think about what was laid on your heart and what Olga shared and what Tina shared, and just see if that added a piece to what is coming through for you, what you're really feeling and wanting to honor and wanting to bring forward in a more powerful and honoring way. And that important reminder that we're all growing and learning too, and we can be patient and understanding with ourselves as well. So important. And with that, I encourage you to use these next 2 minutes just for you, an opportunity to be still, continue with what your heart is sharing with you, and we will continue our conversation in just a moment.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit facebook.com/Voice America.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
You have the power to be stronger, live fearlessly, and enjoy the benefits of a great life. Listen for Fearlessly Authentic with host Jody Harrison Bauer. Jody has proven at an age when many start to slow down that she is just getting started. With 2 grown daughters, a successful business that she started at 50, a finalist in the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue, and a 2-time world bikini champion, she's ready to take you to the next level in your life. Fearlessly Authentic airs Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific on Voice America Empowerment. Rebecca Hall-Greider's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall-Greider. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes and had that opportunity to just be still and listen to what is being laid on your heart. I find it so interesting when I stop and I have that conversation and I listen. I'm so good at sharing out and talking and being in movement and doing. I'm not always as good at listening, or I'm really good at listening to others, but I'm not always good at being still and listening to what is being spoken to me, listening to the guidance I'm receiving, listening to what's coming forward from my heart and spirit. So I encourage you throughout the show, we're going to have those moments where you get to stop, pause, process what's being shared real time, and listen to what is being spoken to your heart and spirit, because sometimes there's additional information on top of what we're sharing that is being spoken to you. So I want to encourage you to capture it and be available to receive it so it can serve you on the highest level. Well, I'm excited to continue our conversation, and I wanted to share a little bit more about Olga so that you know a little more of her background and expertise. So Olga Koftum is a marketing professional specializing in marketing-infused websites and visual branding. She works with businesswomen around the world to help make the world a better place. She's a volunteer for I spell it out. ALLATR. Thank you, Allatra. Spelled ALLATRA, which is an international public movement organization and is a co-host of an international TV show. She is absolutely passionate, which I know you will hear and discover, about empowering you. Please lean in. Warmly welcome the powerful, heart-centered, and passionate Olga Koftum to the show. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. I'm so excited to have you joining us. And I always think it's interesting to see where everybody is. So today we're speaking with people in different parts of the United States. Sometimes we're speaking with people internationally. And I always consider all of our listeners around the world that you're part of our conversation as well. So excited about our global conversation. And Olga, welcome. Love for you to share where you're at and why this work of empowering others is personally so important to you.
Thank you so much. So I am located in state of Michigan, beautiful state of Michigan, just outside of Detroit. And I have lived here almost for 18 years. I was born in Russia, and now my home is United States. And I'm very excited to help others because I really came to this realization through my, life and work experience that, once working in a corporate world and kind of like understanding that there is always some kind of turmoil there and I kind of took this responsibility back on myself and I said to myself, but what can I do to change my situation? And once I had my children, I realized that going back to the corporate world was not an option. So that's why I started to focus more on running my own business and really connecting with people that breathe love, life, compassion, understanding, because I really wanted to surround myself with that so I can become that. And then in becoming that, we can all support each other. So every single client I work with in terms of my profession is a client that has been referred to me. And I build relationship based on honesty and just human touch. Although I do work in marketing, and sometimes we think marketing is, we're tricking someone to buy something. But in reality, marketing is a storytelling. In reality, marketing is providing solutions. So that's why I'm very passionate about women empowerment. And there's so many wonderful, wonderful people out there that are doing so many amazing things where they are planted. And I'm just happy to help them and selfishly grow myself into becoming a better version of myself.
Thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate that. And I think you're right. I think sometimes we have this image of what marketing is about and what media and sharing out is. And I so appreciate your heart and your spirit. And it's so beautiful to know that there are marketing experts that are coming from a place that you're coming from and serving in that place, that heart place of really echoing out and supporting those things that are meaningful and matter and true and can make a positive difference. So I celebrate that. Listeners, I just want you to know towards the end of the show, we're going to let you know how you can connect at a deeper level with Olga. So make sure to stay tuned for that. We're going to make sure at the end of the show that both of our amazing guests are going to get to talk with Tina as well on a deeper level, share their contact information. That way, if you want to continue the conversation and go deeper, you'll know how to do that. So I just wanted to let people know who are going, great, I need her, that I promise we'll let you know how to connect with her and talk deeper. And actually, out of curiosity with that, what is the best way for people to approach you? Is it through your site that you'll share later, email, or can you share that with us later?
Yes, definitely. I can share it at the end of the program.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to give people direction because sometimes people can get shy or not know that next step or what to do. So that'll be great. And then I had, when I was reading your bio and preparing for the show, you used a term called market-infused websites and visual branding. And just since we're talking a little bit about what you do and what you're passionate about, do you mind explaining what you mean by that? So, again, people can feel in and see if that's something they need.
Yes, most definitely. So I am coming from the background as a graphic and web designer, and then I also early in my career realized that I can't serve any clients if I'm just doing the design and websites without knowing anything about marketing, anything about how everything is structured. So I was learning myself, and I was kind of applying everything out there, and I grew into this marketing professional that I am today. And now I help people not just build a website, but I build a website that works for them, that is building instant trust. So when people do come to your website or look at your branding, they have this amazing ability to build this instant trust and do business with you. So this is what I'm specializing in. I'm just using all my skills and talents into one place and really infusing those marketing strategies into branding and websites.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that, because I think sometimes we see these things and we love how they sound, but we don't always lean in and ask. So I appreciate.
Yes, thank you for asking.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that explanation and your holistic approach that you're taking. Really, really powerful in the marketing space. And I know that you have many things that you are part of and are passionate about. And one of them is the show that you're a co-host on and the Creative Society. So I wanted to have you share just a little bit about your work there and what you're doing.
Yeah, sure. So I volunteer for the project Creative Society, and Creative Society is a global project, and it's not just a project of one group, even though it's run on the platform of ALLATRA International Public Movement. It really is a project of our civilization. So if you never heard about Creative Society, please visit allatraunites.com, and you can learn more about this project. And why I really like to be a part of it, because I really see that as one global solution we have for all our global and everyday problems is a creative society. And it's a society where everyone lives happily and has a fulfilled life. So how do we achieve that, right? So we always strive towards better things, better life, better ideas, better opportunities. But how do we achieve that on a global scale? So I have been a volunteer for about 3 years now, but even before I became a volunteer, other volunteers around the globe took interviews of millions of people around the globe, all ages, all social statuses, all professions, everything. So we covered every single person out there. And we asked people, how do you envision a world where you, your family, your friends are happy? And based on the answers that they gave us, we were able to form 8 foundations of the Creative Society. And the number one foundation is human life. So human life is the highest value of a creative society. And that's why right now, since we live in a consumeristic type of society where profits really are the number one priority, unfortunately, and the consumeristic society looks like wars, separation, hate, crime, instability, fear. That's the type of society we live in right now. And like you said, we have the choice and we have ability to choose. So now it is our choice of a civilization to decide for ourselves, do we want to live like animals, or are we ready to become those human beings with a capital H, that human beings that has love, compassion, understanding towards us, that we have respect towards each other? Can we build a world full with love? Can we do it? And how can we do it? So that's why the Project Creative Society was born, because there was a need for it.
Beautiful. And I appreciate you sharing. And that's just the first pillar. So there's multiple that are part of
8 pillars of creative society.
Yep, eight pillars. But that gives you such a beautiful taste. So thank you so much for sharing about the Creative Society and how people can learn more. And I wanted to circle back to helping all of us move forward powerfully, positively, and purposely, because I know that's something you brilliantly do in all of the work that you do, what you volunteer in, what you're giving your time towards, and what you're wanting to help people to do. So I wanted to see back to that question about what can I do? What is something we can do today to start to ask a question or start to move in a purposeful, positive direction for ourselves?
Yes. And you know what? The answer is very simple. We live in the informational field. So information comes first, then we take action. So right now, if you look at the informational field we live in right now, unfortunately, it is all fear and hate-based and all this negative emotion. But really, back to that choice, can we put our attention and time into something beautiful and amazing? Yes, we can. So that's how we change the informational field. Even you, Rebecca, with your radio show, you are changing the informational field of radio to bring positivity and understanding into the world. And it's same with Project Creative Society. It is the same with just being a person, right? You have always this opportunity to shine. And in order for you to shine, you have to kind of take action. So take action and choose wisely of what you're investing your time into every single day. And do you need to be investing time into it? Or is there something that actually can bring back that positivity into your life? So I just encourage everybody to pay attention where you paying your attention to, right? And
where are you focusing?
For yourself. Because if you say it's paying attention, that means you use the resource of your own attention and you cannot get it back. No matter how you try, you cannot get that back. You cannot get the time back. So let's all just be conscious of what we do every single moment, and that will help us pivot into the creative society, a society where everyone is happy and lives a fulfilled life.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing, Olga. I really appreciate it. We will make sure at the end of the show that we give you an opportunity to share all your contact information so people can go deeper with you. But I really appreciate you sharing from the heart and sharing your wisdom and insight with us.
Thank you.
And listeners, we are getting ready to go to our next commercial break. And as we do that, I want to encourage you to just reflect on where have you spent your time and your energy the last 24, 48 hours, maybe look back through the week and just with awareness, not with judgment or criticism, but awareness, and kind of see where your time and energy is going. And then as you look forward, is that how you want to keep spending it? We'll look forward to continuing our conversation in just a moment.
Follow us on Twitter at VoiceAmericaTRN. Get the lowdown on guests, new shows, and your favorites. That's VoiceAmericaTRN.
Rebecca Hall-Griter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Do you have executive function challenges? Actually, these are a lot more common than you would think. These challenges include time management issues, organization, planning, focusing, memory, and problem solving. If this sounds like you, you'll want to check out Focus on Success. With Fawzia Kosti, you'll hear from professionals that offer advice based on their expertise and provide solutions to improve your life. Focus on Success can be heard Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Pacific Time, noon Eastern, on Voice America Empowerment.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall-Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed those 2 minutes and curious what you discovered as you looked back and if there were any shifts there as you are looking ahead of how you're choosing to spend your time, you're choosing to spend your energy. And I hope that that was insightful for you. I know it always is interesting to me because it's so interesting when I just get into the doing, not always paying attention to where the time is going. And then suddenly it's Friday or it's the end of the day and may or may not have moved all of the things forward I had wanted to move forward. So I always find it insightful to see where time is going. And in fact, on that, I do have a share. I was noticing towards the end of last year, I felt like I was running behind on things and couldn't understand, no matter how much I was trying to stay on task and stay on time. And when I evaluated, what I discovered is I was trying to fit 90 minutes of things that needed to be done in 45 minutes, and it didn't work. So upon realizing that, I was able to break things down into smaller pieces and build a little bit more room for those things that are taking more time so that I can honor that. And once I did that, I could immediately feel just peace and a calmness, and like it just will all fall into place and get done. So I found it really, really powerful. So in case any of you out there are finding, I just don't know why things are not all getting done, that was something I discovered by doing that exercise and prioritizing and taking some things off the plate. So again, continuing our conversation, I'm just thrilled and excited to introduce our next amazing guest. You got to hear from her a little bit in our opening segment when she was talking about remembering to be patient with herself and remembering to extend that to herself. So let me introduce her more formally. So Tina Kay is a podcast host, national speaker, workshop leader, seminar leader, and trainer, specializing in leadership, strategic thinking, political savvy, and resilience. She is passionate about helping her audience, helping her listeners, helping those who are attending her seminars and her workshops and her presentations, and you helping all of us step more fully and powerfully into our potential. Please lean in and warmly welcome the powerful, dynamic, and wonderful Tina Kay to the show. Welcome.
Well, that was such a fabulous introduction, Rebecca. It just makes me grin and makes my heart happy hearing that. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. I'm grinning and feeling happy back. It's perfect. I could feel that as you're sharing, and just thrilled to have you joining us today. And I love strategy and being able to step forward and do so in a way that we're bringing all our gifts forward, and you specialize in helping us do that. So just excited to have you joining us. And I'd love for you to share a little bit of why. Why is this work of helping people in that way personally so important to you?
For me personally, I struggled with my own self-confidence for a long time. I was searching for value, validation of who I was, and I was not getting that in my personal life. I was getting it through the efforts I took in my professional life. And because I knew what I was struggling with personally, it gave me that focus on what can I do to help people that I work with every day understand their value and recognize them in what it takes to get to work sometimes. Work is something that we're expected to show up and contribute, but oftentimes we do not understand our value, our purpose, the ultimate goal. And so it was so important for me to give back to the people that I lead and the people that I work with, to let them know that they are important, and everything that they do to contribute in the workplace also helps contribute to them personally. And the things that they get from feeling valued helps balance that personal life and your professional life. And having that balance together just weaves into becoming just such a strong and powerful individual. And what you can give back to your family and what you can give back to your community, it's amazing. And that's what started me in establishing that path and that role.
Thank you so much for sharing, and what valuable work. And it's so important that we do know that, and that it's not just what we do that gives us value, but who we are and who we are outside of work too. Like, all of that matters, and how we're showing up in the contribution. And I'm just curious, what's your favorite part in the work that you do? Is there something that, all of it is so powerful, but is there something that you're just like, that's why I do what I do?
Right. Oftentimes while I'm speaking, to see that glimmer in the eyes that are looking back at me. It is those casual conversations where I have worked with a group of people and I leave, and I always stay connected in some way to continue to show that support and recognition. And those moments where people reach out to me later and they thank me and share a story that happened to them, that to show their success and their accomplishment, because they want that additional validation, the recognition, and just for them to think about sharing what they've accomplished since listening to me or since working with me. That's what brings joy to my life, and seeing the success of in individual lives just unfold. It's amazing.
So beautiful. And I love that you're right there connected, cheering them on in that journey. And that's one of your favorite parts. I love that. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
So powerful. And I know that you also have a podcast that you share powerfully in called Dare to Rise. And I'd love for you to share just a little bit about that, why you decided to become a host, and what people can expect they'll experience and discover in your podcast.
Sure. Dare to Rise, I'm a co-host with my one of my best friends, Nicole. She reached out to me last year, and it took a year in the planning, but we have been producing these episodes, and it all stemmed because so often we feel like we are all alone in our journey. Like, what we're experiencing, sometimes a little bit of shame in that, or confusion or embarrassment, and we think that we're all alone in something. And Nicole and I would have these conversations because, first, we trust each other. We know there's no judgment. We can be vulnerable, which isn't a sign of weakness. It's of strength. And so we were having these private conversations ourselves, recognizing different struggles that we were going through, and yet we were resilient. And every time something happened that may have held us back or may have brought on fear, we continued to dare to rise. And we overcame those obstacles. And through those conversations, we knew that there are so many other people out here in our community across the world that are feeling that same way. And our podcast helps link people to understand that they're not alone. We get guests on that promote the community or activities that they're doing or the struggles that they've been through. But we're all still here. So we're all resilient. Sometimes we don't understand that. but there's so much to know that we're never alone. We can choose to be alone, but even still, we have that emotional support, or we have a spiritual support, that we're never really alone. And Dare to Rise just brings the community together so we can better contribute to ourselves, and we can better contribute to the community and to each other. And at the end of the day, we always, and in the morning, always dare to rise.
I love that. And dare to rise each day again. That's just beautiful.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. And I love some of those powerful pieces of wisdom and advice. And I think it's so timely for our conversation today and moving forward with purpose. And that reminder that just because you're struggling doesn't mean you're resilient. It's that there are struggles, and we can talk about that, and we can choose to be resilient in that and to step forward. That being where we're willing to be authentic, we're willing to share from that place, to be vulnerable, is actually a sign of strength, not weakness. And I think we get confused about some of those things. So I love that. And I also hear that word, dare to rise, and the energy of that is so powerful. But dare, to me, there's a courage in that, which means we've probably come through facing fear. And so I'd love for you to share a little bit about your advice, because you're an expert in helping people dare to rise again. So what advice, wisdom, insight can you share today for those that might be facing some fear in moving forward, or in rising again? What is your advice in that, or suggestions?
Sure. I think that is a wonderful question, because fear does have a tendency of holding us back. And I think the most important thing that we can do when we start feeling that emotion, and sometimes we don't label it as fear, but whatever that emotion is that is holding us back or preventing us from moving forward, is to acknowledge it. Oftentimes we try to ignore it. We feel guilt for feeling it. There's been many times in my life and people that I've worked with where they may start a conversation and say, I am feeling this way, but I feel bad. I shouldn't feel this way. I shouldn't express this emotion. I shouldn't feel this way towards myself or somebody else. Well, never discount those emotions, because those emotions are what propel us forward in our healing journey. Those emotions are what help us move us forward professionally. And so to acknowledge that emotion that you're feeling, and then understand why you're feeling it, ask yourself those questions, and allow someone that you feel close to witness it. I have several people in my close tribe that all they need to do is witness and say, you know what, you're absolutely right for feeling that emotion, and you get to feel it for a few minutes. You may even get to feel that for 2 days. But then there's a point that we need to move forward and heal and recover from that. And that's not to say that we don't eventually roll back into that same fear. But again, it's just pausing and understanding, why do I feel this? And it's okay. It's giving us permission to not be okay sometimes. I was just talking to my good friend, and she said, but I feel bad because I should be okay. I am a blessed individual, and I shouldn't not feel okay. And it's, it's okay.
Yeah.
You should be able to recognize you don't feel okay, and let's talk about it, and then let's move forward.
Thank you so much for sharing. It's so interesting when we start telling ourselves and others should this, should that, shouldn't, instead of honoring who we are and how we're feeling, and honoring that, but not staying stuck in it and choosing to move forward in it. So thank you so much for talking about that and sharing. And I love that idea of having someone witness and help you honor it, help you be willing to feel it, but not fear it, not fear the fear, but then releasing it or choosing to move through it, not letting it be the thing that stops you. And that takes courage. And I love how you're bringing in support and community, because we don't need to do it on our own, and that we do have support to navigate. And I know that you have a number of projects that you're working on. So I'd love for you to share things that we can be looking forward to this year that you are bringing forward.
Yes, I have a book that I am currently working on and should be released in the fall of this year. It is called The Succulent Kiss. Now, if that title doesn't excite you about grabbing it off the bookshelf once it releases, I'm not sure what to tell you. But the book is a true-to-life romance, and it's based on a young girl who aches to find love. And it's her journey to find what it takes to find honor, to find love, and to find juicy romance, beginning with The Succulent Kiss. And I am so excited to get that out because I think at a time, the last, few years, maybe even your lifetime, you have questioned your purpose, your role, what you have to offer. And these different, the book, the podcast, I have another coaching program that I'm starting up that I've delivered, and it's called Coaching to Live. Live stands for learn, inspire, value, and empower. And I think that's another exciting thing to share is that sometimes when I'm thinking about the things that hold us back or the things we struggle with, sometimes we struggle to live. Sometimes we struggle to breathe and take that step every day of our lives. And yet we should be honoring that life. And there are opportunities every day and conversations in our personal existence to learn, to inspire ourselves and each other, to value ourselves and each other, and to empower ourselves and each other. And so there is a connecting theme in everything that I do about self-love and about honoring ourselves and our purpose, our role, our future. There's also a part about looking back with self-reflection to see how far we've come, because sometimes we forget where we were, and we need to honor that too. Because with self-reflection comes even more growth. So those are some projects I'm working on. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for sharing. I so appreciate it. And I always love to know, and I think it's great for us all to know and see and witness people bringing powerful things forward. And one we can stay tuned and watch those unfold and perhaps join in and be a part of. But two, I think it's important we see that, going back to some of what Olga and I were talking about in the previous segment about where are we putting our attention? What are we focusing on? Because we'll find proof of that. What are we believing? What are we looking for? If we're choosing to look for the negative, look for the contraction, look for where things are not coming forward, or are we looking and focusing on what is coming forward and celebrating that and putting more energy so more of that is coming forward? Are we choosing to do that? So I just celebrate your book coming forward. That's really exciting. Very juicy title. Love the program that you're launching and the podcast that you are bringing and sharing with the world. Really, really powerful. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Absolutely. And I was also thinking with all of the things you talk about, that choice and choosing to rise up again. And it was just having me reflect on something my dad taught me. And I don't know that I really appreciated it so much, but I would tell him how hard something was. It was just so hard. And I would explain in detail and a range of emotion how hard something was. And he would say, and? and I just would look at him like, what do you mean? And he goes, hard is not a reason not to. Sometimes things are hard.
Oh.
And not that
Absolutely.
It takes away from the hardness of it or the challenge and honoring all of those emotions. He would listen to all of them. He wouldn't discount them. But he also wouldn't let me wallow and stay stuck in how hard it was and pour energy into how hard it was, but instead really encouraged me to remember that sometimes things are hard, and that isn't a reason not to. In fact, maybe that becomes the reason we dig in and we find more power, we learn more of who we are. We stretch and grow more because it is hard and it is a challenge, and what we're bringing forward is worth that to bring forward. So as we reflect back on our conversation today, I wanted to go around the room and have each of our experts just share their contact information like I promised, because I want everyone to be able to connect with them and go deeper. And I'll make sure to include mine as well, because I did get feedback that people are like, okay, but we want to talk with you too. So I promise I will share that as well. So for those of you who are wanting to connect with me, you can always go to my website, which is yourpurposedrivenpractice.com, yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. If you scroll to the very bottom, there's a picture of me and it says Talk with Rebecca. So you can schedule a time right there directly into my calendar to have a conversation if you would like. Or if you prefer, you can always send me an email, rebecca@yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. And with that, Olga, how can they connect in with you? And I would love for you to share both about your professional work that you do in the marketing world, as well as where they can learn more about Creative Society, since I know we talked about both.
Thank you so much for having me on, and your show is such a light in this world. So thank you so much for just bringing up some of the topics that are so important. But if anyone wants to reach out to me, please, I have my professional website is okdigitalmarketing.com, or you can find me on LinkedIn. I use that platform a lot. It's under Olga Kovtun, and you will find me under Detroit, Michigan. So, and also as far as Creative Society, and if you would like to learn more about the Creative Society, and if you would like to come in for an interview on the topic of a Creative Society, please visit allatraunites.com. And also we have been using a platform, Eventbrite, to promote some of the events we have happening. So if you go to Eventbrite, just type in Creative Society, or go on Google and type in Creative Society, and then you will find us, and you can be connected to so many millions of volunteers around the globe that are taking their time to build a creative society together.
Perfect. Thank you. And I love how you've made it so easy to find. Perfect. Thank you.
Google it.
Appreciate it. And then Tina, would you please share how people can connect with you?
Yes, right now I have an email, coaching2live@gmail.com, and that's coaching with the number 2, LIVE@gmail. I have a couple websites that are in the process of development, so that will be thesucculentkiss.com, and also a website for Dare to Rise. So right now, just email me with questions, and then I can alert you when those websites are live. And then also the podcasts are available on all the podcast platforms, Google, Apple, Spotify, and Stitcher. And so please tune in and listen to all of that.
Wonderful. And just a quick question for the book to be released in the fall, The Succulent Kiss. When they email you, can they ask to be on your list? Because I know you'll be notifying people as dates are finalized and things, and they can be, and there's a special release that usually takes place. So it's an opportunity for them to be involved with that. Can they ask that when they email you?
Absolutely. Thank you, Rebecca. Absolutely. Email me and I will set you on a list and notify you when the release comes, and they can be the first in line.
Perfect. And you heard it here, everybody. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. Listeners, thank you for leaning in. I look forward to your being powerful, positive, and purposeful. And as you go back out in the world, I want you to mindfully, purposely choose to bloom where you're planted and shine. You are a gift to this world. You're absolutely needed. And the way you can have the biggest impact is being willing to share out, shine out your gift, the gift of you. We look forward to talking to you next time.
Thank you for joining us this week for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. Please tune in again for another edition with your host, Rebecca Hall-Gruyter, next Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific, on the Voice America Empowerment Channel, with a replay on Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern and 1 p.m. Pacific on the Voice America Variety Channel. Have a beautiful week, and may you always bloom where you're planted and shine.